Hi, I'm Jayna Rylee, and this is Ageless. I'm 40 and my life is just getting started. I'm here to share real talk and real experiences about how to live life ageless. Nothing's off the table. You know the vibes. Let's go. Welcome back to Ageless. I'm Jayna Rylee, and today I am joined by intimacy expert Allana Pratt. She is a global media personality and go-to authority for those ready to heal heartbreak, live unapologetically, and attract a soul-shaking relationship. This Ivy League grad is the author of 6 books, has interviewed Whoopi Goldberg and Alanis Morissette, and hosts the edgy podcast Intimate Conversations. Allana is a certified master coach with over 5.6 million viewers on YouTube. She has interviewed over 800 times, has been chosen as an icon of influence, and has been featured on Huffington Post, People Magazine, Forbes, CBS, ABC, Fox, TLC, iHeartRadio, and more. For the past 20 years, Allana's brave willingness to heal her own heart makes her authentic, relatable, and credible in her proven coaching programs and intimacy retreats. Her wisdom, exuberance, and raw transparency inspire the deep soul work required to create a solid, intimate relationship with one's self first, which naturally attracts and enhances a healthy partnership that lasts. She is a small town Canadian girl who is honored to love the shit out of humanity. Allana, welcome to the show.
Oh, Jayna, thank you so much. I love your energy. We were saying right before we came on, you loved mine. I'm like, I think we're 2 peas in a pod. Thank you to me, this is what really matters. Intimacy. If we can't be ourself with ourself, how can we be ourself with others? You know, when we get rejected in life, which happens all the time, do we reject ourselves too? Right? This intimate relationship with ourself to me is the core fundamental building block of life. And so thank you for being willing to be so real with me and have this deep conversation to me about what really matters as we step into this new year. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love everything that you just said. I know from my experience, I've had to go through a lot of heartbreak to get on the other side, but I've also learned that I put power in other things, including relationships, to fulfill myself. And I learned that time and time and time again until I feel like I'm starting to get it right. But, you know, it's that intimacy that I'm really looking to talk about with you today because I struggle with it. You know, nothing's off the table on this podcast or for me. And I struggle with intimacy and I don't know what the root cause is. I know there's certain things that have happened in my life that may have created this wall, shall we say, in the intimacy department. But what I loved the most about everything that I shared before I just went into my monologue is that you've healed your own heart. And was there a turning point for you where you really, you know, to get you into this field of healing and intimacy? Like, what was it that got you into this career?
I wish I could say it was this, like this one moment, right? I think it was like many, many, many moments. The first, I wouldn't say I wanted to be an intimacy expert. I kind of just made that shit up, right? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was an art history major at Columbia in New York. So it's certainly not my path. But I'd say one of the first moments was James and Carlene were supposed to come over for the weekend out at the lake in Canada. And it's almost as if somebody sat me down on the steps before they arrived. I don't know why I've sat down on these steps. I never sat down before. And only Carlene came down the steps. And she said, James is dead. And I was 16, Jayna. My cats had died. Not even a grandmother had died. I thought they were joking until I saw Carlene's parents then come down the stairs. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is real. And out of body experience. Next thing I know, I'm running down the highway. Our cabin was right beside a highway. And I was just looking at the top of the trees. If I could just keep screaming, no, this wouldn't happen. And there were cars screeching. And I could hear Carlene say there's been a death. And then my dad, the drunk, stoned, okay, not somebody I would normally trust. Anyways, he starts walking down the yellow line and he takes my shoulders and he shakes me. He goes, look, if this is all there is, let's get off. We live forever. You're going to see your friend again. And we get off the highway and I think, oh my God, isn't it crazy how the guy that I didn't trust and that was drunk all the time was actually opening me to becoming an intimacy expert. Ultimately, he opened me to my spiritual path. He opened me that there's a whole reality beyond what I'm seeing in this little moment. That if you go out like an eagle point of view, all these horrific experiences that we go through is our spiritual curriculum. It's our spiritual curriculum. And later that night, Jayna, my friends took me down to the provincial park to go bike riding. We're coming back, clear blue night. But as we're driving down you open out to the lake and you can see our cabin, there were 2 rainbows over my cabin. And I know that was James's doing. And to me, 2 rainbows, it was like a choice. When life smucks you down, one choice is get bitter, close your heart, and never open to love again. That's a very valid choice because it hurts. But the other rainbow to me was an invitation to open my heart, to heart splayed wide open in the face of this fucked up place, right? And then to learn how to do that. And what are the practices and what are the healing modalities and what are the points of view and what is not belief in the head, but knowing in the hips that's going to take for me to keep going and stay optimistic, which isn't fluffy. Optimistic takes bravery. Same with joy. Joy isn't fluffy either. Joy takes bravery. It's our embodied fuel. And that's what that first experience taught me is I choose to live with my heart splayed wide open. And even if it's completely a mess and broken and I'm a wobbly hot mess, I will not give anyone the power to close my heart. Yeah.
That is so powerful. And, I don't know if I've told you, but ageless actually is because it was born because I feel like the spirit is eternal. And I apologize for the dog down below me. She,
all right.
of course, knows when I hit record and it's time to jump in and she's ready to say something.
No worries at all.
Okay. So what I was saying about ageless is I feel like the spirit is eternal. So we're ageless.
Yes.
And it's not just about, the number, and it's about how we want to live within our spirit. And so, my spiritual path has taken a lot of turns, but what inspired me to start this podcast was really that idea. And then, the sky's the limit on the topics, but, just like you being on my podcast today, the universe has brought me such beautiful people and have added so much value to the idea of ageless. So I'm really glad that we're talking about this today because your story is so powerful. I can't imagine at 16 losing a friend. I've lost a lot of people in my life, but never that young. So it's like, what do you do with that? And so like you were saying, with the open heart, and it can be shattered and it can, be imperfect. That's your opportunity to jump in and heal. Yeah. And God, it took me a long time to get to that healing place. I would stuff pain. I would take traumas and stuff them and forget about them and hope I'd forget about them. But guess what? They come back out. They come back around. And it's taken me, God, I'm 43 now and I'm still a work in progress. So I love how you said spiritual curriculum, because that is the path I'm on. And I hope to be a spiritual student forever. There's always something to learn. There's always reasons to grow and to heal. And so that's why I was so looking forward to this podcast today, because intimacy is a topic that I don't think is talked about as much as it should be.
Thank you. Yeah. So just so you know, my cat has arrived now.
The animals just want to be a part of this today.
I think so. I find that when I'm my most vulnerable, that everyone hears their lesson in my story. And when I try to be the guru and have all my 5 tips to whatever, it's very surface but it doesn't really get in there. So to the degree that you're willing to share, what is it about intimacy that we can begin talking about that will soothe and heal and nurture your situation?
What's funny is that last week I had something come up for me that was really uncomfortable. Just, um, God, it was just one thing that I had said to my boyfriend a couple weeks ago, and I was doing every morning I do like a morning meditation. And
Yeah.
so I was in the middle of my morning meditation, and what I had said to my boyfriend just came to mind. And I was like, wow, I really need to do some work on that. That's kind of a big deal. You didn't heal all the traumas from this past relationship. So I feverishly wrote out like all these resentments that I didn't even know were in there, but
Yeah.
they came out like they were yesterday. And I was able to do the healing work on that. And that doesn't mean that the trauma is gone. That doesn't
Mm,
mean that the PTSD from that relationship is gone.
mm,
But I've put it in my backpack and carried it into every single relationship since then, including the one that I'm in now.
yeah.
And, another thing I was telling you before the show that, I'm a little emotional today and a little sensitive because a topic came up for my boyfriend and I yesterday, and we're actually in couples therapy right now.
Yeah.
And it was probably the worst therapy session I've ever had. Like, it couldn't have gone worse.
Oh,
And we went our separate ways, and it was a really uncomfortable evening. We tried to talk about it this morning, but we were both like fueled, and now it just feels like complete wreckage.
mm,
And he shuts down, I shut down, walls
mm,
go up, there's no
mm,
intimacy there.
mm.
And so it's like, what do you do about it then? It's really easy to talk about intimacy when you're not like
Triggered.
in the weeds or triggered.
Mhm.
And I guess that would be my question is like, I know lean in when it's painful, but like how do you lean into that?
Mm. Without knowing what the topic is, so yesterday morning at 5:30, my client left. I do these psychedelic somatic integration weekends.
Mm.
Um, and about a week before that, the couple, they're both clients of mine, called, and the agreement was he wasn't going to drink anymore. And he did. And this has been going on for a decade and a half, to the point where now she's finally facing, actually, I need to say, we can't be married anymore if you're going to choose drinking over me and the kids. And he did. And the marriage was almost over. And he got on a plane and came out for some deep, deep work. But the point that I want to share with you regarding you and your boyfriend is I know this intellectually. I've studied, I've got tons of certifications, but it's just different when it's actually right in front of me, where I see that his wounds trigger her wounds trigger him like
Mm.
puzzle pieces, like they're perfectly uniquely designed. Like her unresolved childhood wounds trigger him, his unresolved childhood wounds trigger her, and they are the perfect fit to heal. They are the perfect fit to individually heal and be the healing for each other. But here's the key: both need to do the work.
Mm.
And if only one does the work, then the relationship is over. So when we get to these places of rupture in our relationship, I want everyone to know nothing's wrong. In fact, everything's right, because you're triggering this unresolved, incomplete core wound from childhood that you actually get to work out with your partner, and both of you can become healed and stronger together. And
Mhm.
soon, instead of trying to trigger each other, you actually bring out the best in one another. So for her, her voice never mattered, so she never spoke up. And if she spoke up about something, love would be taken away. That was her growing up. So if she says anything about the drinking, he's going to leave.
Gotcha.
But if she speaks up, he doesn't want to drink. He's just escaping, right?
Right.
So her speaking up heals her and then invites him to heal. Do you see how that
Love
works?
that.
Yeah.
Love that puzzle piece moment.
Right.
I
Right.
see it.
And yeah. And so for him, he grew up and his mom almost died of cancer once, and then almost died of cancer twice, and then did die of cancer on the third time. So his feelings weren't allowed. He wasn't allowed to have feelings because he didn't want to make her upset, didn't want to make dad upset. And so his job is to not stuff away that he's hiding the drinking, stuff away that he's scared, stuff away that he hurts. He's supposed to be the man, right? So his wound is to go through his threshold of, oh my God, what if I share that I'm scared? Growing up, he got in trouble. Don't worry your mother. Don't worry your mother. Shut up, right? So the healing of his wound is to speak up in his marriage. I'm scared. I'm uncomfortable. I don't feel like I'm the provider I want to be. And to experience what he never experienced growing up, tell me more. I'm here. I love you. But he's been stuffing that expression away, those emotions away with drinking rather than let go of the drinking, sit in the fire, open his mouth, speak, and heal his wound. And then there's the connection between the two of them. You see how each of this is just so perfect?
So perfect. It's a
Oh,
beautiful repair.
right. So if they each do the inner work and then they each be that in the relationship, they heal themselves and they heal each other. And not only that, they heal the kids. Because if they don't, the pattern is going to repeat. Because where did they learn that from? Their parents.
Their
Now they're
parents.
doing it. The
That's the
kids are going to do
blueprint.
it, right? So they're not only healing themselves and the marriage, they're healing the future of their children. And I believe when we do this deep work, as you said with the whole thing with ageless and that we're all one and we're all connected, I believe their parents who have passed also heal. Also heal when we do the work. I believe we heal, like the Native Americans say, 7 generations forward and back when we do this work, and that we're the chosen ones to listen to this podcast, to create a podcast, to be vulnerable and do our work in front of others, to inspire others. Nobody's wrong here. Nobody's broken. We are wounded, yeah, but we're not fundamentally broken. We're all here to spiritually evolve together. So if we could apply that sort of puzzle piece wound, if you want to share, what happens to you when you do this shutdown? Were you raised where you weren't allowed to open up or speak, or you got in trouble if you showed emotion?
There was a lot of fear because it was an explosive household.
Ah, yes.
So we raised our voice, asked for forgiveness, swept it under the rug. And, my father actually was the biggest fueler. And he was the one that, everything I learned about anger was from him and the way he exploded. And, it feels good to explode. I don't
Mm,
care what anybody says. It's one of the best feelings in the world. But when you come down, it's one of the worst feelings in the world.
yeah.
And I was always afraid that I would be on the other side of the explosion if I did speak my truth. And so I did a lot of double lifing. I did a lot of sneaking around. I did a lot of lying because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't
Yeah.
want to feel the effects of what I already knew it felt like to on the other side of the explosion.
Yeah.
And I have chosen relationships with men who explode. So,
Yeah.
and then I also explode. So, two explosions don't create like a wellness atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so, I love your example
Mm,
about the puzzle piece.
mm,
And
mm.
you're absolutely right, and sometimes two people maybe don't need to be together.
Well, there's that as well. So let me tell you the next piece is this is vulnerable, beautiful podcast. Okay, so first a little story about the autonomic nervous system and trauma, and then a personal story. When it's too much to process as a kid, we disassociate, level 4. Okay, we're not in our body anymore. And we have this sense of calm, but we're actually numb. We're actually gone, right?
Hmm.
Disassociation. Then we come back into our body because no one's around to listen, make it safe for us to process our emotion. Home is not safe, right? We come back into level 3, and there's such a sense like after the explosion, the hopelessness. What's the point? No one listens to me. It's not safe. Men are, women are, life is, all these negative statements, right? Hopelessness. Who wants to feel that? Well, I think I'm going to go disassociate again. I'll go drink, I'll go work, I'll do whatever I do, I'll leave. So most people just go in between level 4 trauma, level 3 trauma, level 4 trauma, and that's life. That's life for them. Every so often, once they get through the hopelessness, they get to level 2, which is that huge rage, the huge outburst. So
Hmm.
the level 2 is very short. It'll be like panic, fear, or rage, fury, but it's really short and really, really intense. And nobody wants to be around for that. They'll
No.
break up with you. They'll fire you from a job. You'll hate yourself. So nobody actually feels that fully. So then back to hopelessness and then disassociate level 4, right? So that's all most people get trapped in when they've had these traumatic experiences growing up. But if we can allow the nervous system and trust the body, and this is what I facilitate in my weekends, and what all of my, I call them my Allana Pratt method processes, they're all about sitting in the fire and feeling past where we've ever felt before without leaving again. So if we can feel into the level 3 hopelessness long enough, the body will take us to that unexpressed rage, that unexpressed panic that we were never safe enough, held enough, honored enough to feel. Because on the other side of that isn't the disassociation calm, it's real relief. It's autonomic nervous system. The cheetah didn't eat me. Dad didn't punch me. Boyfriend didn't leave me. Like, it's real. And then if we stay there long enough, 0. And 0 is an embodied wholeness, where that looping pattern that attracts boyfriend after boyfriend, job after job, whatever, it's home. And the pattern completes in life. We don't do it anymore. Because here's what I discovered my level 4 was doing, my disassociation. Disassociation is like hypervigilance. It just never stops. Mine was, where's the next abuser to survive? Where's the next abuser to survive? Not my brain, my body. Our brains, as lovely as they are, and I'm an Ivy League graduate, I'm all about being smart. That's only maybe 5 or 8% of who we are. Top of the iceberg. That's consciousness, conscious thought, very small. The iceberg under the water, 93, 95% of what's going on is the body hypervigilantly vibrating, looking for the next abuser to survive. So this is what I did, Jayna, romantically, with friends, professionally, financially. My body was nonstop. Where's the next abuser to survive? So I'm at a party. I'm going to choose the worst investor. I'm going to choose the sociopath to date. I'm going to, right? Even though brain knows better. And brain knows better. So here I am in a vocation to try to heal myself and heal others, knowing that we're all intelligent, good people. Why are we fucking shit up left, right, and center over and over and over? It's not our brain. I did all the studying. It didn't do any good. I even did the psychedelic medicine when I left out to tier 3. I would do my ayahuasca journeys, my psilocybin journeys. I would leave. Oh, I'm one with all, but I'm not in my body. I've left my body. I'm very good at leaving my body, right? I know
Right.
exactly how to disassociate, no problemo.
Yeah.
But this use of very low dose psychedelic medicine, where I'm talking to them the whole time, blindfolded. This is about tier 1, the body. This is about helping the trauma, the autonomic nervous system, come back to 0. And when my last boyfriend, screamed bloody murder, the police came, arrested him, put him in jail. He pleaded guilty for criminal assault. That bad. And I was so ashamed. Here I am, this intimacy expert, helping all these people find the one and heal marriages and all this kind of stuff. And I attracted a man who hit me. I didn't tell anybody. So the combination of shame and 24/7 hypervigilance, because he had over 30 guns.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah. And so hating on myself and being terrified, I used to have so much judgment for women or men that stayed in abusive relationships. From the outside in, I was like, well, fucking leave. What's your issue? Go. But I'd never been in one when all my resources were gone. Being that hypervigilant and hating on myself every single day for 10 months, I lost courage. I lost confidence. And if it wasn't for screaming my head off and the police coming, I probably would have stayed. I would have stayed because I didn't tell anybody. And when that occurred, I said, okay, I have taken every course under the sun. I've done my plant medicine. What else? And someone said, oh, no, in this psychedelic revolution, we're using medicine differently. There are FDA trials with vets from Vietnam, these PTSD. But PTSD isn't just from war. It's when you never got to heal the wound growing up. There was no grandma or grandpa's house to go to where it was safe. And you just gave up and you left your body. Well, what we discovered when I started to do this form of healing work that I now do with my clients was, oh, when I was little, there was some molesting going on, because it all came back in these sessions, the smells, the sounds, all the things that were told to me, the physical penetration. Your body will literally recapitulate, replay what it never got to replay, never got to heal as a kid. And it's so beautiful to have a witness, me, with my clients. And I had my facilitator when I went through this, So I'm watching my body, the facilitator's watching my body, and all of a sudden I understand now why I want to suicidal kill myself. I understand now why I'm so terrified and panicked. And I get all the way back to zero. And I finally forgave myself. I finally went, oh, that's why. Even though you're so intelligent, you can't attract a great guy, and why you keep attracting horrible investors for your company. Oh, okay. So I'm committed to doing this work with myself. I've probably done 35 journeys at this point. I've done hundreds of journeys with my clients, and all these very well-intending, intelligent people who can't seem to get it right romantically or professionally. It's not their quote unquote fault. It is this subconscious trauma wounding in their body that we have the capacity to bring all the way back to zero. And all of our life changes, although it's intense because we create an identity on top of this. We're victims. We're martyrs. We're people pleasers. We give away our power. We lie. All these different things we do. We've created an identity to survive the trauma. So when the trauma is healed, the identity also dissolves. And it's quite disorienting for a little bit. But you know what actually starts to arise is the true you, the authentic you, the brave you, the real you. And it's can be disorienting because the relationships you attracted, maybe they need to go. Maybe the job where you work so hard and kill yourself all the time, maybe you don't need to do it. Maybe you can work smart now, not hard.
Right.
Right. And life begins to slowly but surely, when you keep doing the work and keep showing up, become the life you always knew you were meant to live.
That was powerful. Everything about that was powerful. And what stuck out to me the most was just that uh, all those things that we use as survival tools for the trauma
Yeah.
dissolving and that you feel disoriented.
Mhm.
Like, I just don't know what that feels like. And I can only imagine it would be disorienting, but also like the springboard to, oh my God, like,
I
hi,
do.
I'm just meeting you for the first time. Like, who
Yes.
are you?
Yes, it's the greatest thing. It's disorienting, but also magnificent, which is why when I work with people, I don't do like a psychedelic somatic weekend and go, well, have a good time. No, I make sure people work with me for a year. We do the weekends, we do the private coaching. I have the weekly group calls in the inner circle, and then we meet if they'd like to once a month, once a year with us in the retreat. We all get together in person at the
Mm,
retreat. So by the end of a year, you've been held, you've been seen, you've been gotten, you've been encouraged, you've been safe to feel your feelings, and you have like a metamorphosis. You've become from the chrysalis, the butterfly is out. Um, Generally, every marriage I've worked with recently with this has gotten stronger. Over the years of being an intimacy expert, 20 years or so, some marriages have completed because they were trauma bond relationships. They
mhm.
were trauma bond. But just like I shared with that other couple, your wounds are actually perfectly designed to heal. But here's the key, not both people do the work all the time. So when both people do the work together, I believe those trauma bonds can turn into soulmate like fuel for these incredibly beautiful relationships. But if both people don't do the work and we're all on a different time, our
Right.
soul's journey is different. If they don't, it's time to let go and move on to a healthy relationship based on your healthy relationship with yourself.
I think there's so much fear around the letting go part,
Of course.
especially if you're not really intimate with yourself. Um, all you're left with is yourself. So I know I'm probably not alone in feeling that way. Like, how do you navigate that fear?
Yeah, you feel it. The very same process of trusting your body to feel the feeling in my Allana Pratt method processes, in these weekends that I do with people at my retreats, all the things. When you can feel through the fear and not abort, not do one of your sabotaging mechanisms, but be held, right? I'm the facilitator. I got you. When you can feel through that and surrender and literally let that feeling consume you, not alone, but with somebody else, you will know, you will experience that your body will get you to the other side. And the energy that's doing that to me is this spirit, is the divine. The divine's got you, the facilitator's got you. And then on the other side, it's not just that the fear goes away, it's like alchemy. It's a
Mhm.
processing, it's an integrating. So that fear turns into, on the other side, turns into bravery, turns into the ability to trust, surrender, turns into the ability to speak up, turns into the ability, the capacity to let go. It's through the feeling and sitting in the fire. It's actually one of my Allana Pratt method processes. It's called sitting in the fire, right? By practicing this, and I like to imagine little you. Little you is inside my heart, or maybe I'm really scared in my throat. Maybe I'm really scared in my belly, wherever the fear is. I just imagine in there is a little Jayna, a little Allana, terrified. And my job is to go in there and say, I got you. You have every right to feel this. Not, oh, it's going to be fine. That's pushing it away. Go in there and go, wow, I'm right here. Tell me more. And feel the feeling and be with the emotion, be with the body part, be with little you, whatever works for you, but be with it. And on the other side, you will be measurably embodied and stronger by going through it over and over and over and over until you really start to get the hang of it. But I've been doing this intimacy work for 20 years. I've been doing this feeling the feelings work for 20 years. I've been doing the psychedelic tier 1 work for 3 or 4 years now. I'm still scared. I'm still scared pretty much every day. But I get through it so much faster because I don't resist it anymore. And the identity of all the shtick I would do to try to like pretend I wasn't or push it away, that's gone. And now I would say I'm softer than ever and motherfucking stronger than ever.
It's a beautiful combo.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Because then you can actually go high mystery, high unknown, high uncertainty, want to dance, as opposed to, oh shit, better close up, better play it safe, better have a small life and then die with regret. No, thank you.
No, thank you. Life is way too short for that. At least our time here on earth is too short for that.
Right?
I feel exactly like what your dad said, that we go on forever. I do believe that.
Yeah.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
That kind of leads me into my next question. I know many of us struggle with repeated patterns or cycles in relationships that just cause us pain. And some of us continue to attract emotionally unavailable partners or end up in unfulfilling relationships. How, and you may have already answered this, but how do we identify the root cause in that?
Everything's a mirror, if you ask me. So anything going on out there is an indication of what's going on the inside. So if you keep attracting cheaters, where are you cheating on your truth? Ghosters, where are you ghosting your awarenesses, your feelings, right? Where emotionally unavailable, where are you emotionally unavailable to yourself? An emotional come up, you'd be like, shove that down. Little you is piping up, scared, sad, ashamed, mad. You're like, enough of that, right? So whatever you're doing, you will attract that in a partner. So one of the great ways to get through that is to get into a curriculum or a coach or a program where you start to learn how to feel. You start to learn how to stay present when it's uncomfortable. You start to learn, like my story, how to keep your heart open, splayed wide open in the face of anything. And learn that, oh my God, if I stay with this in a safe environment with people I can trust, like a facilitator trained like myself, my body knows what it's doing. Spirit didn't go anywhere. I need to let spirit help my body know what it's designed to do and come back to zero and have even more clarity, even more courage. And then you'll start to have a different, it's almost like putting on, like you took off the rose-colored glasses. So you just keep being emotionally unavailable to yourself and you just keep attracting emotionally unavailable people. But then all of a sudden you're available to yourself. You feel the feelings and then you go out with somebody and you're having a date and you get moved. And they go, hey, I saw you were moved. What was that? They notice because you notice. And you start to have an emotionally available relationship. Or you go out and you're talking about something and it starts to move you and they are looking at the other girl walking by. They're not even paying attention. And you see it this time. And you're going, oh, they didn't notice the tear in my eye. Oh, that doesn't make me feel safe or seen. Oh, they're emotionally unavailable. Oh, I'm complete. Thank you. This has been a lovely opportunity to meet you. I wish you all the best on your relationship journey. And you leave because you saw it this time. You're not going to see it when you are it.
That makes sense. Like you said, a mirror.
Yeah, you're just looking in the mirror. And you often blame them when it's actually you're the one that's creating the whole thing. not with self-abuse or self-judgment, but with ownership. There's a difference, right?
And the ownership is part of the self intimacy that
Right.
you teach.
Yes. And that builds great self-respect and self-esteem. Yes. Ownership. Self-judgment, not so much.
No.
That'll destroy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you have a new course that you're about to launch next
Uh,
week, right?
yeah. On the 14th.
Okay, so when this airs, it will have launched the day before this podcast airs.
Perfect.
So perfect. I mean, timing, look at the universe again. Do
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
talk about it?
Oh, I would love to. So when this airs, you'll want to go to my website, allanapratt.com/become mastery, all one word. There's also, well, they won't get it. There's also a complimentary event coming up, but they won't get it. It'll be over by the time they hear it. I haven't led a 7-week course for 8 years. So I have 10 Allana Pratt method processes. This is the first 5. This first course is called Become the One Mastery. The second course is called Find the One Mastery. One of my 6th book is called Finding the One is Bullshit. So it all ties together with my own journey where I got married twice and divorced twice because I thought he was the answer when I was actually the problem. So we need to become the one. And the first process is little you, what I was talking about. Go find that part of you and stop hitting her or him over the head with a 2x4 because they're scared. We need to do the opposite. We need to be with them. We need to learn to feel this. Second process, sitting in the fire. If we can't learn to be and help our autonomic nervous system come back to zero, we will always stay in our trauma. Third process, dancing with polarity. We have it that I'm sad, it's wrong. I'm angry, it's wrong. I'm ashamed, it's wrong. And so this is like, no, what's right about that? What is the gift in that? What is the message in that? So when these feelings come up after the initial sitting in the fire is over and we've integrated it, why was that happening? What is this telling me? Where am I spiritually bypassing? What is the gift in the divorce? Gift in the death? Gift in getting fired? Gift in they left me? Gift in they ghost? What is the gift in that? And so we're no longer scared of pain or scared of challenges. We lean in. So we see life from a totally different point of view. And actually the opposite as well. What is the detriment of a little too much pleasure? A little too much. We forget to pick up the kids. We forget to pay the taxes. We forget to go to the gym. Too much of a good thing is actually detrimental. And pain, there's a lot of wisdom to be taken from that. So that's the dance of polarity. That's the third process. The fourth process, theater of redemption. This is one of my favorite. Totally politically incorrect. I'm not going to tell you all about it because you'd probably think I'm a wacko. But anyways, it's a very, very, very effective way of integrating anger. Society makes anger wrong. And you talked about it because people misusing anger, right? Horrific things happen when we misuse our anger towards another. And also horrific depression and suicide when we turn that anger against ourselves. It's a big issue. But when we can integrate anger, I've got shivers as I'm telling you this, when we can integrate anger into fierce love for our soul, we're free and we're empowered. And that process is priceless, to be able to integrate anger in a healthy way. So much so that you literally by the end of the process see they done me wrong as if you're the director, producer, and actor of your own play. No victims in my courses. No, you get to see the world and you can't see it until you've integrated it first. Kind of like on the date, you can't see it until you've integrated it.
Right.
So once you've integrated the anger, you can actually see that experience, your soul chose it for your own evolution. And you can literally say, thank you for giving me. See the word forgives in there. Thank you for giving me this experience because I've learned, discovered, grown, evolved, changed, all these things. And then the last process is conscious communion with the beloved, that no one's really out there. That if we can't absolutely, unconditionally love all of ourselves, including the hot mess self, we can never have that mirrored conscious communion with the beloved on the outside. So it's about homecoming with self so that you can have that homecoming with your beloved. And so the course is 7 weeks. Damn proud of it. And the first 50 people to register also get a private session with me, which normally you don't get unless you sign up for the year coaching with me.
Got
so
it.
That to me is worth the price of admission right there. Yeah. allanapratt.com/become mastery. I'm so proud of me to show up and give this. Because every time, I don't know about you, but you launch a podcast, will anybody listen? You
Right.
launch a course, will anybody come? But I can't let this love, like it's like you're closed and that hurts more than opening and risking.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm proud of myself for going for it and sharing this because
I'm so proud of
good
you.
work. Thank
It
you.
sounds like a treasure.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It's
And
going
I
to be
might
great.
be knocking on your door because it
Do, please.
sounds, I mean, I'm just like hanging on to every word here because it all resonates.
Yeah. Yeah. And then come the fall, we'll get into find the one. But I would recommend don't go try to find the one until you become the one because it's not going to go well, says 2 divorces over here.
Oh my God. I'm with you. I've never been through a divorce, but I've been through relationship breakups that have felt very much like a divorce would feel.
Sure.
And it's just when you open yourself up to somebody and you share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the trauma bonding you described, I've had a lot of that. And for some reason, those are the most painful for me, are those trauma bonded relationships ending.
Yeah.
It's like you're ripping a part of me, a part of my soul away, and I never get to talk to it or see it, touch it, feel it again.
Totally.
It's crazy.
I just want to jump through and just hug you right now. The unintegrated wound, the trauma, I believe is seeking resolution, seeking healing by trauma bonding. But the person to partner with to heal that isn't the trauma, it's a facilitator. And literally I was going through my outline of that complimentary event, the Art of Intimacy, to welcome people into the mastery course. And at the very, very end of it, I was starting to get emotional, Jayna, because I get to trauma occurs in relationship and healing occurs in relationship. But the chance of it healing with the traumatic bonding relationship person, you get it, is pretty slim. So I get the gift and honor of being like the divine mother. And everyone in the course gets to heal with me. The safe person, the one who doesn't judge, the one who has the tools, the one who has the patience, the one who sees the glory of who you are. And it really made me start to cry at the end, the distinct honor it is to walk through shadows, terrifying shadows with people, feeling things that they have been so scared to feel, and be that ferocious motherfucking badass, I will never drop you. And this tender, patient, divine mother energy kind of just makes me cry right now. Like, this is what I was designed for. But I couldn't do it if I hadn't gone through it too, right?
You had to go through it.
I can't be this, know this, embody this, teach this, give this if I'm not like the wounded healer who's already been through it. So it's like when we heal our wounds, who we are on the other side is a gift to humanity. Just sitting there having a cup of coffee, your vibration's higher, you're making a difference, right? But you're probably going to do more than that. And the way you listen and the way you can be with the people that really matter to you, and that you finally can attract a healthy relationship. Oh my fucking God, it's so worth it.
So worth it.
So worth it.
And I feel like our experiences that we share with others is the best teacher. I mean, you get so much more out of it than just reading pages in a book.
Totally. Yeah.
And both sides get something out of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then when you do it in a group for 7 weeks, the momentum is like fucking off the charts. Yeah, it's a transformational portal. Yeah. Thank you. I'm really grateful for this interview because I can't cook. I need technology to save my life. I need my staff for all these things. But this is what I'm damn good at. So thank you.
And I can tell you really have something special. Just how you articulate experiences and how you articulate what intimacy really means, and that self-love, and even just having the experience yourself. You just have a special energy about you, and I've so enjoyed this conversation today.
So have I. Thank you.
You just have this like genuine love for the planet and for human beings, and that's not something that you experience every day. So I'm honored and grateful that I got to experience it with you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I'm in love with you already. Done.
Oh, likewise. I definitely, the more and more I've thought about it in the last 60 seconds, I have got to take your course. I don't want to say goodbye, Allana. I don't want to say goodbye.
I would be honored to love the shit out of you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think
Yeah.
let me just say this. If there's
Mm.
one thing you can leave with the audience, what
Mm.
would it be?
Healing is completely possible. Miracles are completely possible, and you have to do the work. Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, sorry about that part. Yeah, and the work is uncomfortable, and it's breathtaking and exquisite.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ageless. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Tune in next week for a new episode.